Have you heard Beyonce Drunk in Love?
I don't know that. I love Beyonce, but I haven't.
Mariah just flew in from her own planet. I'm telling you, this is Mariah's.
My own planet?
Yes,
I did.
yes, absolutely.
And I don't.
Not y'all. Beyonce getting called out again for allegedly copying other artists. And this time, the buzz is about her possibly silently cutting ties with none other than Mariah Carey, the very icon she once publicly admired.
Mariah Carey's voice comes from God. You can hear the gospel in her voice. Very nice to see her in the church. The whole message in the video was just Vision of Love was one of the first songs I heard when I was a kid. And I was like, how does she do that? In this little short amount of times, the amount of notes she could squeeze in that one little bar or 2 bars was fascinating to me. And that's kind of when I started trying it. And it's something that I love to do in my music, but she completely inspired.
Now, before the beehive starts buzzing, let's be clear, this is all alleged. But honey, where there's smoke, there's usually fire. And let's not forget, wasn't it Beyonce herself who once joked that no one wanted her at their shows because she'd show up and steal the whole spotlight?
Nobody gonna want us to go to their shows, Frank.
Why?
Because we gonna take everything.
Yeah, but everybody does that, though.
No, everybody does.
You know? But it is gonna be first.
But we go and meet everybody and say, hey, great show, and then still it.
Now, before we dive in, yes, this is all alleged, but guess who's being linked to Mariah Carey's industry downfall? Reportedly, Jennifer Lopez. I know, J-Lo might be the last person anyone expects to call out sabotage against Mariah, given their own long-standing drama. But let's get into it. Believe it or not, if you rewind the clock, Beyonce used to worship Mariah Carey. Seriously. We're talking full-on fangirl mode. She praised Mariah like she was the vocal gospel, even saying that hearing Vision of Love was the moment she knew she wanted to become a singer. There are old clips and interviews where a young Beyonce is clearly in awe, gushing about Mariah's unmatched vocal range and stage presence. So what happened? Did that admiration turn into imitation or even competition? Some fans are now saying Beyonce may have tried to replace Mariah Carey rather than just honor her. The comparisons have been around for years, from musical styles to marketing strategies. One major point of contention was the surprise album drop. When Mariah was prepping to release Me, I Am Mariah, the elusive chanteuse, the Beehive accused her of copying Beyonce's legendary 2013 surprise album release. But longtime Mariah fans flipped the script, saying Mariah had been talking about innovative release strategies for years, and that Beyonce may have actually borrowed her blueprint. Then there's the aesthetic, the glam, the diva image, the blend of powerhouse vocals with flawless visuals. Mariah was already doing that in the 90s, when Beyonce was still rising. Some fans have even pointed out performances and visuals by Beyonce that feel eerily similar to Mariah's iconic moments. It's led to speculation that Beyonce may have used her rising influence to edge Mariah out of the spotlight, a claim that's been made about her treatment of other artists too. Take 2003, for example. An artist named Jennifer Armour claimed she sent her demo Got a Little Bit of Love for You to Beyonce's label, Columbia Records. Not long after, she heard Baby Boy on the radio and thought it sounded way too familiar. She even filed a lawsuit, but it was ultimately dismissed due to lack of proof that Beyonce had ever heard the song. And it doesn't stop there. Beyonce's been accused of borrowing choreography as well. For her Formation tour, choreographer Marlon Ortiz accused her of lifting dance sequences from his struggling troupe show De La Guarda. He even wrote a detailed Instagram post saying that while inspiration is one thing, credit is another, and they deserved at least that. Oh, and let's not forget Single Ladies. The iconic choreography, it was actually inspired by the late dance legend Bob Fosse, created originally for his wife Gwen Verdon. Beyonce acknowledged the inspiration during a 106 & Park appearance, but to this day, many people still believe those moves were 100% hers. Then there's the countdown video. Fans found near-identical choreography and visuals from Belgian choreographer Anne-Theresa de Keersmaker and created side-by-side comparison videos that practically scream copy-paste. The allegations don't end there. Beyonce also covered Desiree's song Kissing You for her B-Day album, renamed it Still in Love, Kissing You, and gave herself writing credit. The problem? The licensing deal never went through. Desiree ended up suing for $150,000 in damages and demanded that the song and video be pulled. Oh, and let's not even start on the list of Madonna-inspired concepts that fans have pointed out in Beyoncé's visuals. There was even a viral Twitter thread breaking down the similarities one by one. And finally, there's Amerie, another artist fans believe was sidelined once Beyoncé dropped One Thing-style tracks that closely resembled Amerie's sound. That similarity sparked even more conversation around Beyoncé's pattern of taking inspiration without giving much credit.
She was the original Beyonce. Beyonce stole her steez.
Oh, you think so?
Look at Crazy in Love video and look at A. Marie, Why We Fall in Love.
So here's where the tea really starts to spill. Back in 2004, when Amerie was working on her second album, she brought in producer Rich Harrison, the same hitmaker who's also worked with Jennifer Lopez and Beyoncé. According to reports, Rich and his team finished Amerie's lead single One Thing in just 1 to 3 hours. But when they sent it to her label, Columbia Records, the song kept getting rejected over and over again. No matter how many versions she and Rich submitted, the label wouldn't greenlight it. At the time, Amerie said the execs at Columbia Records just didn't get her sound. And those words, "didn't get it," are important because that's exactly where things start looking suspicious. Enter Beyoncé. In an interview about her hit Crazy in Love, Beyoncé mentioned that what made the song work was the horn hook, describing it as having a go-go and old-school feel. Sound familiar? That's literally how Amerie described her style, the exact same one her label supposedly didn't get. Now, the Beehive has long denied claims that Beyoncé stole Amerie's sound, especially because Crazy in Love was released before One Thing. But here's the catch. Rich Harrison was Amerie's producer first, and it's entirely possible that Crazy in Love was developed using the ideas or even material he'd originally created with Amerie. Just because Beyoncé's version dropped first doesn't mean it was made first. In fact, some fans believe that Amerie and Rich essentially pioneered a whole subgenre of R&B with that go-go influence, a signature sound from Amerie's hometown of Washington, D.C., and that Beyoncé, or at least her team, heard it and ran with it. The result? Beyoncé's version became a global smash, while Amerie's career got quietly overshadowed. And honey, that's not the only case. There have long been whispers that Beyoncé may have also tried to derail Rihanna's rise to stardom. And more recently, some fans have started questioning if Beyoncé had a hand in Normani's stalled momentum. Whenever people bring up why Normani isn't as big as she should be, Beyoncé's name tends to creep into the conversation. Allegedly, of course. Now, with all these examples piling up, it's not too hard to see why some folks are speculating that Beyoncé may have used her influence to edge Mariah Carey out of the spotlight. And rumor has it that Jennifer Lopez, yes, J-Lo, is allegedly opening up behind the scenes about how Mariah's career was sabotaged. But let's be real, J-Lo probably isn't the best person to expose anyone for stealing from Mariah, especially given her own history. Remember the glitter era? Back when Mariah was working on the film and its accompanying album, she had secured the sample from Yellow Magic Orchestra's 1978 track Firecracker for her single Loverboy. But to her shock, she later heard that exact same sample show up on Jennifer Lopez's song. The timing was too perfect to be a coincidence. Here's where it gets messy. J-Lo had already built some fame from In Living Color, but struggled to break into music, mainly because her vocals and acting chops weren't strong enough for Broadway or a singing career. Enter Tommy Mottola, Mariah's ex-husband and then head of Sony Music. At that point, Mariah was desperate to leave both Tommy and her contract with Sony, but Tommy wasn't having it. According to Mariah, he used all of his industry power to sabotage her. He shelved her version of Loverboy and handed the same sample to J-Lo, who was also under Sony. That move single-handedly derailed the glitter rollout. Mariah later opened up about the betrayal in her memoir, The Meaning of Mariah Carey, writing much of what went wrong with glitter led back to Tommy. He was angry about the divorce and my departure from Sony, and he used all his power and connections to punish me. There was no way he would allow me to have a huge success after leaving him in Sony. He was not going to let me or glitter shine. After hearing my new song using the same sample I used, Sony rushed to make a single for another female entertainer on their label, whom I don't know. And that last part, I don't know, has since become legendary, because when Mariah was once asked her opinion about other female singers in the industry, she had this to say about Beyoncé: she's nice and a good writer. But when asked about Jennifer Lopez, I don't know her, and she's never backed down from that line, ever.
There are rivalries, but I don't think she has anything to do with me. I mean, my whole thing is singing, writing songs. Yeah, and I've been doing this, my whole life. Singing is first and foremost. It's a God-given talent that I'm grateful for. Her thing is something different.
Mariah even threw some major shade when rumors swirled about J.Lo not singing her own songs. In a Talk magazine interview, Mariah commented on her exhausting schedule, saying she only got about 3 hours of sleep a night. Then, taking a jab at J.Lo's claim that she slept 8 hours, Mariah quipped, "If I had the luxury of not having to sing my own songs, darling, I'd do that too." Woo, that was cold now. I don't know about you, but it's starting to feel like maybe J.Lo's sudden talk of Mariah being sabotage is her way of trying to slide back into MC's good graces. But if that's the case, why drag Beyoncé into it? Could something else be brewing behind the scenes among the divas? Whatever it is, I'm intrigued. What do you think is really going on here? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I need answers.